So yesterday I received a document, a data dump. It was sent to me by a casino insider who's watching the crisis unfold from the boardroom level. And this isn't just a list of complaints, it's an autopsy report of sorts. It outlines what they're calling the financial death spiral. And once you understand what's in this report, you realize that the casinos aren't ripping you off because they want to. They're ripping you off because they've trapped themselves in a mathematical prison they simply can't escape. Because for the last year and a half, something in Vegas has seemed off. My name is Stephen J. Campbell. This is where you come for some Vegas and you stay for the total meltdown of America's adult Disneyland. And now for decades, there was a deal, an unwritten contract between Las Vegas and the rest of the world. Simply put, you bring money. In exchange, we give you a dream. We give you luxury. We give you a fair shot at a jackpot. And even if you lose, you leave and you feel just like a king. Now that was the deal. But if you've walked the strip lately, if you've really looked past the neon, past the fountains, past all of the influencers, you know that this deal has been broken. Something has shifted. The energy is different. It feels tighter. It feels more desperate. And for the last year, I've been trying to put my finger on exactly what went wrong. Because on the surface, the PR machine tells us that everything is fine. They tell us that revenue is up. They tell us that the city is booming. But I'm a doom and gloom guy. I look at the cracks in the foundations, and when I look at the reality of Vegas right now, I'm forced to ask some very uncomfortable questions. I'm just asking, if business is booming, then why does a sandwich and a soda cost $27 at the food hall? That isn't inflation, that's predation. I'm just asking, why are the table minimums increasing to $25 and $50 on a Tuesday afternoon? Why are they pushing out the middle-class player who built this city? Why does the housekeeping staff seem invisible? Why are elevators and escalators broken right in front of luxury resorts? If they're making record profits, why does the carpet feel dirty? And the biggest question of all is, why are they changing the rules of the games themselves? Why did blackjack citywide go from 3-2 odds to 6-5? Why do slot machines seem and feel tighter than ever before? Now, for a long time, I thought the answer was simple greed. I thought they were just seeing how much they could get away with. I thought they were simply testing us. But I was wrong. No, it isn't greed. It's survival. They've engineered a system where they're practically guaranteed to fail. And today I'm going to walk you through this data dump and document step by step. I'm going to show you how they sold the ground beneath their feet to Wall Street. I'm going to show you how the mathematical impossibility of their survival plays out. And I'm going to show you why, according to this report, the Las Vegas you know is being prepared for a massive Vulture capitalist takeover. But before we open the file and take a look at the proof, there's something you need to do to ensure that you don't get caught up in a financial trap of your own. So we'll tell you all about that report after a word from our sponsor. Hey, quick question for you. How did you start your day today? I started my day by jumping on the charts and pocketing close to $250 in about 30 seconds. Now, some people call that futures trading, but to me, I call it the most life-altering decision that I ever made. And for me, it was so powerful that once it clicked, I made my own course. It's how I sponsor the videos, and it's called 1K a day. Now, picture this. You jump into the futures market and you click a button if it goes up and you make some potential money there, or you click a button and it goes down and you make some potential money there. Yeah, that's what over 850 of my students are doing on a daily basis. And they're finishing it up within 10 or 15 minutes. It's just pretty much that simple. Most of my students, they're making base hits. $50 here, $100 there, $200 for a day, $300, and then they're done, they're out. $300 a day, 5 days a week. Comes out to $6,000 a month. Would that improve your life? It's a few weeks into the new year. Most of you guys have had your New Year's resolutions completely evaporate and wear off. But if you're one of the people that wants real change in your life, just click the first link in the pinned comment of this video. Get to the checkout page and type in the code CHANGE10. I want to take 10 people and give them the opportunity to radically change their lives too. You're going to get my entire course for $199. You're going to get 100 plus videos. I'm adding to it constantly. Live streams twice a month with me. I believe the next time the price goes up, we're moving to either $299 or $350. That could be tomorrow. I don't know when that happens. Because when we really get into it and you see how Vegas is changing, you're going to see how it's everything changing, just like Vegas. The greed is everywhere, and I want you to be able to combat that. So let's get right into the evidence. When you read through this insider report, one theme comes up over and over again. It's the root cause for the entire crisis. The document calls it the sale-leaseback death trap. And to understand this, you have to understand a massive shift that happened in Vegas a few years ago. Historically, casino owners owned their own land. They owned the building, they owned the dirt. That meant that if they had a bad month or a bad year, they could weather the storm. They had real assets. But then the corporate geniuses that run the properties decided they wanted quick cash. They wanted to make the stock price go up today. So they did something that this report identifies as the point of no return. They sold the casinos. They sold the land to real estate investment trusts, to massive corporate landlords like Vici Properties. They sold the dirt for billions of dollars to get a one-time cash injection. But here's the catch. They still need to operate the casino, so they signed what are called leasebacks to rent the casino back from the new landlords. And now this document highlights a specific clause in those contracts called rent escalators. And this means the rent goes up every single year. It creates what the report calls a compounding cost structure. Now think about that for a minute. Imagine you sold your house to a shark and then rented it back. And the shark put a clause in the lease that says your rent goes up 2, 3, or 4% every single year, regardless of whether you got a raise at work, regardless of whether the economy is good or bad. The rent always goes up. The report says this creates a mathematical impossibility of casino survival because eventually the rent becomes so high that the casino literally cannot generate enough revenue to pay for it. The report calls it a financial death spiral. So you have these operators, they're all staring at a rent bill that is getting bigger year by year. But we know from the numbers, the visitation numbers are flat or down. The high rollers from China aren't coming like they used to. And the younger generation, they're not playing slots. So the expenses are skyrocketing and the organic revenue is dying. So what do? And how do they pay the landlord? Well, they have to extract that money from you, and they have to do this aggressively. Now, this brings us to the second part of the report, the quote-unquote revenue erosion mechanisms. And this is the part that explains why your Vegas vacation feels so different now. The report lists reason number 2 explicitly, table game odds restructuring. Now, we've all seen the switch to 6-5 odds on blackjack. Most people just think, oh, the payout is a little less. No, the math is actually brutal. It increases the house edge by massive margins. It turns a game of skill into a nearly guaranteed loss over time. And the report admits that this change has triggered, quote, player abandonment. And they know the smart money left. They know you hate it, but they can't change it back. They need that extra edge to pay the rent escalators. And then look at reason number 3 in this report, the, quote, slot machine hold percentage increases. And it says they have systematically tightened the payouts from the historical standard of 92 to 94% down to as low as the 88th percentile range. And so when you sit at a machine and it just feels like a vacuum cleaner sucking up your credits, that isn't bad luck. And that's a corporate mandate. The document calls this, quote, price elasticity violation. That's a fancy way of saying that they're charging you more than you're willing to pay. Now, this is where the fees come in. The resort fees that are now $50 a night, the paid parking that places used to have for free, the food and beverage price gouging in the report. The report outlines how casual dining entrees have moved to the $35 to $55 range. They've eliminated the loss leaders. Now, historically, the cheap shrimp cocktail and the free parking, they were there to get you in the door, so you would sit and gamble. But now, they can't wait for you to gamble. They need your money immediately. They've converted the hospitality industry into a collection of, quote, revenue maximizing centers. They're building their own brand equity. They're destroying the trust of the customer. And according to this text and this report, they know exactly what they're doing. And they have no choice. The lease payment is due on the first of the month regardless. But there is a side effect to this death spiral that's even more visible than the prices. And this is the part that really breaks my heart as someone who loves this city. The report has an entire section dedicated to, quote, operational dysfunction, end quote. It uses a term that every business owner should be terrified of: capital expenditure starvation. When you're broke, when you're drowning in debt service and rent payments, you stop fixing things. The report lists maintenance deferral as a major warning sign. This is why we see leaks in the ceilings. This is why the escalators on the pedestrian bridges are always fenced off. They're deferring the maintenance. They're kicking the can down the road. The report also details labor cost escalations and understaffing. And they're cutting the staff to the bone: housekeeping quality degradation, front desk service failures, security staffing reductions. And this creates a cycle. The casino looks dirty, so the premium customers stop coming. Because the premium customers stop coming, revenue drops. And because revenue drops, they have to cut the cleaning budget even more, and the casino gets even dirtier. It's a self-reinforcing loop of decay. The document calls this the guest defection cascade. It's the moment where the customer loyalty becomes irretrievable. You walk in, you see the grime, you feel the heat, you pay the $27 for the bad sandwich and the cheap soda, and you say, that's it, I'm done, I'm not coming back. And that's exactly what they're afraid of. So where does this end? If the math is impossible and the customers are leaving and the buildings are falling apart, what is the plan then? Well, this insider report has a very dark conclusion. It suggests that for many of these properties, there's no plan to save them. The plan is to simply let them fail. The report identifies a group it calls the Vulture capitalists. It talks about the distressed asset acquisition. It talks about the private equity endgame. There are massive pools of money on Wall Street sitting on the sidelines right now. They're watching the debt pile up. They're watching the lease payments strangle the operators. And they're sitting there waiting. They're waiting for the inevitable bankruptcy filings. Because when these casinos go bust, the vultures can swoop in. They can buy these massive resorts for pennies on the dollar. They can strip the assets. They can restructure the debt. They can wipe out the shareholders. Now, the report describes this as a systematic absorption of failed casino properties. It suggests that the decline we are seeing, the rot, the fees, the bad odds, it's all part of a terminal phase. We're watching the slow motion collapse of the old Las Vegas model. The Vegas value proposition is dead. It was killed by financial engineering. It was killed by the sale leaseback. It was killed by the desperate need to feed the corporate landlord. So the next time you're in Vegas, look around. When you see the 6-5 blackjack on the felt, when you see the dust on the chandelier, when you see the closed sections of the casino floor, don't just get angry. Understand what you're actually looking at. You're looking at a business that's in a death spiral. You're looking at a math problem that has no solution. And the only question left to ask yourself is, when the crash comes, who's going to be left holding the bag? The report suggests it won't be the landlords. It won't be the executives. It instead will be the city itself. And it'll be us, the people who made it great in the first place. But in the end, every crisis brings opportunity. Opportunities to invest, opportunities to make money, opportunities to get in when the price drops. So keep watching those casino stocks. I don't give financial advice on this channel, but I do trade the futures market, something that could benefit you, because when things drop, they always go back up. Get my course by clicking the link below, or get with a financial advisor to see how you can capitalize on all this stuff by investing your own money. Whatever you do, do something great today, because you deserve it. Once again, I'm Stephen J. Campbell. If you're even 1% smarter for watching this video, click subscribe, click like, leave us a comment. It really helps the algorithm get us in front of more people. And if you want to see one of my very first videos where I explore how dangerous the strip gets when you go right off, just click on this video next to my head. We'll take a tour of East Harmon Avenue, a place I'll be revisiting soon, so stay tuned and subscribe to the channel there too. And as my mentor always tells me, and I love to pass on to you, just keep swimming.